first thing I'd like to know is how many service managers or service directors do I have in the room? Could you put your hands up, please? Excellent. How many people in the room today interact with customers and or you're a service writer? Put your hands up, please. Okay, fantastic. And then the last question I'll ask is how many of you guys are what I consider the kings of the business, the technicians in the room? Please put your hands up. Phenomenal. Well, let me ask this question. Why do you guys think I just said the kings of the business? What would be the purpose behind that statement? You bet. You know, guys, it doesn't matter how clean and pretty your dealership is. It doesn't matter how clean the floor is, how the service advisor smiles, how they write up. I mean, that stuff does matter. But if you don't have dedicated, hardworking, fix-it-right the first time minded technicians in your dealerships, you guys are nothing. And one of the things that I bring up when I speak about that is that, you know, a lot of times, and I mentioned this the other day, a lot of times in the dealership world, and I travel all over the United States, Canada, and Europe to teach, is if I go into dealerships, a lot of times I get into discussions with people, and it's this set of people against this set of people. For example, if I go in and grab a bunch of service advisors and pull them into a training room and I say, how's things work here in the dealership? Is, you know, when you guys go to sell something, you know, how does it work? They'll say, oh man, we could sell till we're blue in the face, but those technicians can't get the cars out the door by 5 o'clock. But yet, you can get a bunch of technicians in the room and you could say, how's everything going? And you say, you know what, we can work our butts off all day, but these guys can't sell their way out of a wet paper bag. And what I mean by that is a lot of times we get sectionalized in a dealership, right? Today we're going to talk about some processes and some ways that we can get together as a group and try to smooth some of that out to the extent that we're all working toward the same goal. I think that's very important. You know, and like Doug was saying the other day, and I thought that really hit home, the industry right now looks at the service department as a necessary evil, don't they? And that's kind of a shame because if you look at the numbers in the business right now, the service and parts departments in dealerships are asked to provide 100% of the fixed coverage, meaning the expenses of the entire dealership here in the year 2010. But back when I started in the business in 1979, that contribution from service was less than 55% by national average. Now, so the reason that I mention this is it's very important, and I know you guys very much work hard as a group because I've spent a lot of time with Doug speaking about this, and you guys do work well doing meetings and all that. But you know, today we're going to go over a lot of stuff that relates to how we're interacting with a customer, what we're doing when we're writing up a customer, the process involved in that. Then we're going to spend a lot of time on the technical stuff. So when we're talking today, I want you guys to feel free to interact with me. I'm not going to be standing up here preaching to you. Now, just to give you a real quick background on what I do, I started in the car business in 1979 as a technician. And then I went to work for Cadillac. I started in a mobile station in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. I went to work for Cadillac and spent the better part of 20 years of my career with Cadillac, Mercedes, and Audi. And spent some time on the floor working on cars, about 10 years of that. Then spent some time as a shop foreman. And then we had a very unfortunate incident one day in the dealership. We had a 36-year-old service director that literally flopped over and dropped dead in the service drive one morning of a heart attack. So the dealer principal came to me and asked me if I'd be willing to run the service department. And I said, sure. You know, I don't know how good I'll be at it, but I'll sure give it a try. So I did a little bit of service writing to get used to how things worked on the service desk, spent some time there, and then took over the service department. And the last job that I did in the dealership world was I was a fixed operations director over service parts and body for 7 dealerships in upstate New York, which essentially made me the highest paid babysitter in the state of New York, but that's another story. So today what my company does, my company's called GSS Enterprises, we write technical instruction and management instruction for a lot of dealer groups in the US and of course BG, AC, Delco. Now the reason that I tell you that background, guys, is not to toot my own horn because anybody that knows me knows I'm not that kind of guy at all. But the reason I do tell you that background is if we're going to have a good, successful day here for the next 6 to 8 hours, I think it's very important that when we're delivering this information, if you have a question or something I say to you doesn't sit right or goes against what you believe, I'd really appreciate it if you take the time to put your hand up and interrupt me, and let's hash it out. And I think that's very important, because if we've got 5 people in the room just going, this guy's an idiot and he doesn't know what he's talking about, then the seminar's no good for anybody. Would you guys agree with that? So I'm here today, guys, to speak with you, not at you. I'm not a teacher and a preacher. I'm an automotive operator just like you guys are. I'm not employed by BG Products either, so this is not a sales pitch. This is designed to get us all together as a group and do a little bit better with the customers, and more specifically, to deliver some information to you guys to load your gun on that service desk with proper, credible information to go talk to that customer about what needs to be done to that car. So with that said, what I'm going to do is get going here. We're going to spend approximately an hour to an hour and a half this morning going over some industry trends, going over some of the things that are happening within the industry, and then we're going to talk about write-up process. And I know that you guys in the Auto Canada group have been really keyed in on that write-up process over the last couple of years, developing a method of approach to that customer that will ensure that we're capturing all we can capture on that car. Would you guys agree with that? And you guys have had a new menu system come out. You've had some changes to your process. You're being asked to do fluid samples and walkarounds now. And this morning, I'm hoping that I can break down for you the reasons why that kind of thing needs to happen in a dealership. You know, I'm really pleased with when I drive around and look at the Auto Canada stores. I've been in Auto Canada stores now in Ontario, Alberta, and BC, and I'm very impressed with how you guys are really focusing your business towards serving that customer. Now, on that note, let me ask this question. When you guys get out of bed every morning and you make your coffee, you get in the car and you drive to work, what is it that you're going to work for? Money. Would you guys agree with that? I mean, that's why anybody works, right? Well, here's something I want you guys to think about as we go through the day. Instead of walking in that door and thinking about, I'm going into work to make money, think about this. Why don't you walk in that door and have a heart of service toward that customer? And what I mean is, if you wake up every single day and you ask yourself, how is it that I can improve my customer service, improve my technical skills, improve my approach to my customers, my relationship with my customers, then the money will follow. Would you guys agree with that? The money will absolutely follow. So go into work every day with a heart of service to your fellow coworkers and to your customers, because it's amazing what that thought process and that paradigm does for a dealership when everybody walks in the door looking to serve the customer. Now, the first thing I would like to start with this morning is a concept that BG Products put out there a few years back called the Maintenance Awareness Program. Now, what the Maintenance Awareness Program is designed to do is it's designed to help you in all of these areas, but I've keyed in on 4 critical areas here in yellow. So I'm not going to waste everybody's time like a teacher reading each one of these stupid lines on this slide, but I do think that these in yellow are very important for us to take a minute to discuss. For example, all of you guys are familiar with the term effective labor rate, correct? I mean, it's one of the major benchmarks that we're measured on in our industry, isn't it? Especially as managers. Now, what effective labor rate technically does is it takes a look at our entire pricing and technician pay schemes as a whole for everything we sell in the dealership, and we're benchmarked on that number. Now, why can BG Products Maintenance Awareness Program help you guys with effective labor rate? Well, it's very simple. Let's go down to the next one in yellow. We can help you to decrease one-item ROs with a proper, profitable, quick and easy maintenance program to sell to your customer. In other words, BG gives you guys approximately 13 major services that are available for you to sell to your customer. Almost all of them have to do with fluid-borne problems in the car, transmission, brake, fuel, all that stuff. But we do have some ancillary products like the lens saver products, and we have AC products which really don't deal with much fluid except for maybe the PAG oil. So all these are designed to help you to offset this. One-item repair orders in a dealership are a very, very big problem today. And I'll tell you why. Because we're having our industry reduced to being oil change shops, aren't we? And the manufacturers are really, really stretching today to try to get us to do very minimal maintenance, and they're stretching out the oil change intervals. And why would they do that? Somebody tell me why the manufacturers would ask us to do outrageously long maintenance intervals or virtually no maintenance on certain models. Why would they do that? What's their purpose? Cost of ownership, but what's the end game? Sell another car, right?